it may or may not be obvious to you, but I went to military school. Imagine that, right? But I used to have hair down to my waist in a braid, so that's fun too. But the question I have is, how well do you know yourself? How well do I know myself? You don't have the answer to that, and neither do I. So, whatever. But so here I am. I'm graduating high school. Hopefully, most of us have done that. And I have a choice to make. What school? What school? What do I need? What will help me improve in the future? So, you ask your parents, you ask your friends, what should I do? And my answer, to the complete and utter horror of my parents and chagrin of all my friends, was military school. So I went to Norwich University, the Military College of Vermont. We'll say that my first semester there was a very impressive semester. I earned a 0.9 grade point average. Probably not a surprise, but after that, the second semester, I started off just as well as I had in the fall. And spring break came around and I said, well, spring break, it's 2 weeks. I'm going to go visit all my friends. So I drove to all the universities that they went to and just hung out for a day or two. And while I was at one place, I was invited to go to a formal ball the following weekend after spring break down in North Carolina. Now remember, I'm at a military school. And I mentioned that I was at military school, and they said, oh, it'd be awesome if you came down in your uniform. And I'm thinking, oh, well, sure, whatever. So I get back to school and I fill out the paperwork to go off campus. I need to receive some leave, and I have this plan, but I can't decide. Am I going for? Well, I should probably mention at this point that while I was at military school, I enlisted, as one does. And I decided that, instead of going to drill, right, which is your monthly drill, I would go to this formal dance instead. Never mind that it's in North Carolina and my school is in Vermont and my drilling is in New Hampshire. So I couldn't decide if I was putting down personal leave or military leave. And you've got to say that, maybe military school isn't the best place for somebody like me, because, do I need discipline or do I need self-discipline, right? Well, discipline clearly wasn't working, so I chose to go to North Carolina. Probably not the best choice. So here I am. I'm in North Carolina. I've stopped on the way at Duke, where a friend of mine is going to school, and stopped over just to say hi because I missed her on the way through the first time. And she says, I got this phone call. It was really weird. Somebody called and said they're your roommate, and that you should have a good time this weekend because coming back might not go so well. And I had no idea what she meant or what my roommate meant. But I went to the formal dance the next day and had a really great time and drove back up to the university, where it turns out that when you can't decide and you change your mind on a triplicate form, right? So if you put an X on the top form and then white it out on the top form, it turns out you don't actually end up whiting out the stuff on the yellow copy or the pink copy below. So there were 2 boxes marked on the yellow copy and the pink copy, and the white copy had 3 different layers of whiteout on there. So so one might think, maybe this kid doesn't know what the heck he's doing. So it turns out, there's the worst thing that can happen at a military school is you get thrown out. Fair enough, right? The second thing is you get suspended and you can't come back for a year. The third thing is 50 hours of marching in a square and 50 demerits, right? 100 demerits will get you kicked out. And I got the third worst for that. So there I am telling my parents at the end of the semester that, hey, you know how I did 0.9 my first semester? My second semester, I got a 3.8. And they said, well, how did you do that? And then I had to tell them that basically I was disciplined and got half the demerits I needed to get thrown out and all this other stuff. To which my mother got, just lovely lady, says, well, what did you learn? Meanwhile, my dad is just sitting in the back trying not to laugh because he is totally the not militarist guy ever. And she's like, so what did you learn? And I said, well, what I learned is I don't need discipline. I need self-discipline. And that's the story of how you can really stiff yourself over if you don't follow your own needs. And if you don't know what you need, it's really easy to make the wrong choice. And if your family knows what you need and tells you, and they turn out to be right, hopefully your family's like my family. They don't rub it in too awful hard. Just, every time you see them for the next 30 something years.